everybody. Welcome back to the show. I guess we've got a lot to touch on this week because obviously there's been a little bit of madness going on in the Europa League, you know, with it's been red cards galore, to be honest. There's been a couple of shock results. Eleanor might not feel the same in terms of shock-wise because, you know, she's been telling you for time about Jose, but we're going to get onto that. Hope everybody's okay. Obviously, we've got the regulars, got Eleanor and Charles here. Beth will be joining us. Oh, she's actually here right now, so I will add her to the stream before we kick off because then everybody's here. And I'm going to move myself there. I'm just talking you through what I'm doing, guys. Sorry. But yeah, how are we, girls? Are we okay? I know some of you will be happier than others. Obviously, kind of doesn't really affect me too much in terms of my Premier League club, but obviously, Atletico went and got beat by Chelsea. So this week of football's just frustrated the life out of me, to be honest. But how is everybody else? Are we all good?
I'm fabulous, you know.
I'm all right
fabulous.
other than my team. Other than my team, I'm okay. Like health-wise, I'm good. Football-wise, I'm terrible.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's it.
I'm fabulous in both areas. I'm fabulous in health and football. Football is not an issue for me right now.
And I'm sure Beth's going to agree with you on that one. Yeah? Beth, are you going to agree with Charles? You're good in health and football?
No problems here. Absolutely everything. Life is great.
Yeah, I guess that.
Carry
I
on
guess that as much. Guess that as much. Oh, Laurie's in the comments saying Tottenham bottling it is not a shock. You're starting early, Laurie. I'm not going to lie. You're starting early. You really are. Yeah. And you're not going to rile Eleanor
up. Yeah, it's a bit too early for this. I can't lie.
Yeah, it's a bit premature because we've got to start with Champions League first. So, bit premature, not going to lie, but we'll see. Obviously, so with that being said, we'll start off with Champions League. Not that I really want to because, first of all, I'll probably get people in the comments like, she supports two clubs. I don't. I support Newcastle and I follow Atleti. Yeah. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that in my life. I feel like at this point I'm going to have to get a sign and like carry it around. Wear it on my neck and be like, I don't support Atleti. I just follow them. I feel like that's literally going to be me for like the rest of my life. But if anyone's watching this show and if you tune in, and if you tune in to the rest, do you want to, you can sort it out. It'll be all right.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, everyone who's watching this show and cares, I follow Atleti, have done since I was 9, but I followed I supported Newcastle all my life. So that just clears it up before I get into Atleti because everyone's gonna be like, why is she saying we? And also, I'm not wearing a football shirt tonight because I'm finished with football. I'm tired of it. I'm sick.
Me too.
Too. I'm wearing a basketball shirt today. Well, I know it's not a proper one, but it is a reworked one. So we'll start off, obviously, where Beth and Charles probably want to start off, which is Chelsea Atletico. From my point of view, yous deserved the win by far. Atleti never even came out the starting blocks. It was atrocious considering the confidence that I personally had going into the game with a full strength squad. We literally just couldn't break it down at all. There was obviously some silly fouls going in there. Savage got sent off, which, I mean, for me personally, the red card was probably a little bit soft, but that's what it is. We've seen it given for, less than that in the past. So it is what it is. There was obviously comments before the game that, during the game, that we should have had a penalty, if not maybe 2. I really don't care at this point because, in my opinion, I don't think it would have really changed the result massively because I still think the way that you guys played, you probably would have beaten us regardless. That's just my opinion. Obviously, it changes the wind of the direction of the game, but it doesn't really, change it. So, Beth, I'll come to you first. How do you feel it went? Obviously, I know you're going to think it went well, so just tell me, let me know.
I'm buzzing. I'm not even going to lie. I'm really happy right now. I mean, what more could I have asked? Yeah, like even me, I'm holding my hands up. Even me, when we got Atletico, I was shitting myself. I was like, nah, this is not good. But you know what? First leg, Giroud got a world-class goal against a world-class keeper. And then what happens? I thought Atletico were going to absolutely come at us. And I was like, no. And I was like,
I expected that as well because we had everybody back.
I expected them to come at you.
And obviously,
I was worried because I was like,
yeah, Simeone's press conference was like, look, I've got one mindset and it's to win. So I thought, that's it. We're on the front foot straight away, which is what we needed to do. But again, just wasn't enough again. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, like, and I just think that, like, I was really worried when it got, because usually after about 20 minutes, you settle into the game. And, like, I thought, you know what? It's they're going to come at us now. Like, I was panicking. I was like, oh, God, please no, please no, please no, please no. They just didn't. There was no light switch moment where they just decided to turn up. Like, Kante man. Oh,
So
he was
good.
beautiful. This is the Kante I love. This is the Kante I want to see all the time. It literally is beautiful. And I also, the Rudiger man, the man, like, I was worried when he was put in the squad after with Tuchel. Not just because he was a little bit wishy-washy, like you didn't know what you were going to get with him. Like under Sarri, you saw that. Like he was a little bit like up and down. He'd have a couple of really good games and then he'd have like a really bad game. But since Tuchel, he's literally turned the hell up. I'm not even playing. The man's turning up. He was pocketed, like, you know it's bad when Suarez is getting subbed off at like the 65th minute. Like,
he
it's
didn't.
bad.
Yeah, just over the hour mark. I think he got subbed off, and
Yeah.
I was like gutted because I was like, oh, I wanted to see Suarez and Felix together, and it's not like every single game you see that, even in La Liga. Like,
No.
he sometimes prefers Korea, and I was just annoyed. But yeah, just it wasn't good at all from Atleti's point of view, but it was really good for Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea were good. Like, I'm not even saying that, but Atleti made it easy for you guys to look really good, even though obviously you were and you deserved it.
I mean, we know all about that.
I just think we definitely came out wanting it a little bit more than obviously Atletico, and we took advantage of that. Man, Emerson's goal. I'm fuming at this. I was doing a watch along and I was like, oh, he's dead ass. What does he do? I have to make an apology 2 seconds later because he's got a great goal. Like, I was like, I take it back.
I do it all the time.
I take it back. I'm like,
for something.
what? I'm like,
it was Lascelles with me last week. I was like, I don't like Lascelles. I hate Lascelles.
Emerson is just like so wishy-washy. Like,
it was like
he really is. Like,
he doesn't play for you guys a lot, does he?
No, he hasn't. Like, and the last time he played was under Lampard, and it was a while ago. And I was just worried. I was really worried when he brought him on. But, you know, I had to apologise and hold my hands up and say that was a great goal. But I think there's only I've seen it in the chat as well, and it's really annoying me, so I'm going to call it out right now. There's all this like Ziyech is better than Salah, like Ziyech is back again. He's had one good game. Let's all pipe down for 5 seconds. Let's all pipe down. See some consistency and then come talk to me. But it's been one game and he got a goal. It was a tap-in. It was a tap-in. It was a bloody tap-in. It wasn't like he created an epic goal. It was a tap-in. And if you'd have missed it, I would have been fuming, even more fuming than I am. Like, I'm not saying he didn't have a good game, and I'll praise him for having a good game. Well done for getting a goal and getting a good game. But we can't just be like, oh, the wizard is back. He's back. Like, he's had one game. Can I see some consistency?
You've just got high standards.
Well, no, just like I think performing for one game is not high standards in anyone's. I mean, apart from it, these two, Kenzel and Ella, are like the wrong people to be discussing like one game of turning up with. But like, I think you need to have some consistency before I can be like, yeah, I can see a difference. I was worried about Mount and Jorginho being missing, but Havertz turned up quite nicely. Werner's passing, whether he gets a goal or not, or he had a shot on target, Werner makes those runs. The one-touch passing in the box is beautiful. Like Werner's
and I said before the game that his pace was something that would worry me personally. And
it was.
It was 100%.
He's our best defensive weapon, even if he doesn't score.
He was, and Havertz turned up too. And like, my favourite part of the game, Thiago Silva, not even playing, telling these people what to do. He's shouting. He's like, yeah.
He was managing from the
celebration in the end.
I know, the celebration. But you know what? Kovacic and Kante turned up when they needed to, and they did a great job. They really did. Kante especially. I think the problem is because Kante was on a level.
I'm laughing at the comments.
Because Conte was on a level, Like, it was a struggle for Kovacic to be like, Kovacic was good, but because Kante was so bad that, like, it was like, because Kante was so good, you were struggling to see how good Kovacic was being because you were literally just focusing on Kante. But for me, like, I'm not going to lie, it was a great, fabulous game. The only thing I want to see is more consistency with Ziyech. I'm not saying anything bad right now. I'm just saying I want to see some more consistency with Ziyech, which I think is a very fair point. And I think Beth will agree with me too on that one. I'm not being horrible. I'm not being nasty. I'm being nice for once. I am being nice for once.
Yeah, normally it's like, oh, he needs to leave my club. I need to get rid of this person. I need to get rid of that person.
You know what? Now
Newcastle.
Now I've got my nice stuff out. Pulisic came on and didn't actually turn up. I didn't even realise he was on the pitch. Cool story. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Honestly, this agenda you have, I guess, honestly, it's so funny to me.
Do you know what? It's funny though, because Ziyech can turn up in a game, but Pulisic can't.
Because Pulisic is normally in the hospital bed or with a blooming
No, because here's my representation of Pulisic. It's when you're going. This is how I describe Pulisic. When we were buying Pulisic from Dortmund, we thought we were going into Harrods and buying a porcelain teapot, a beautiful porcelain teapot that's stunning. What we actually did, we went into Hotel Chocolat, bought a chocolate teapot, put boiling water in it, just melted and crumbled. That's what we've got with Pulisic right now, with all these injuries. Just to clarify, for anyone trying to like butcher me, 5 injuries in not even 2 seasons. 5 injuries at Chelsea, not even 2 seasons. Don't talk
more
to
than
me.
that. Are you sure it's not just 5 this season? It feels like mad.
I know. I feel like he's just constantly injured. I wouldn't care. He's actually a decent player when he's on form, like when he's not injured. But the problem is he cannot stay fit. Which is going to be a big hindrance to his career as well.
21 injuries in 22 years. 21 injuries in 22 years. To all the people dissing me right now in the comments, take a minute to process the 21 injuries in 20. That's nearly an injury every year. Plus, we have 5 injuries in not even 2. We've not had 2 seasons. We actually haven't got our money's worth from him yet because he's been injured a lot of the time this season, or they're not playing him as much because they don't want to. I need to check this now. Is Leeds beating? Oh my god, this is.
I hope
exciting.
so because that helps us out.
Who scored? Did Bamford score? He's in my team.
Hold on. I'm checking now. I'm checking. Yeah, Rafinha just got the second goal.
Oh, he's my team too.
Oh,
but
fantastic.
Bamford.
Laurie, yes.
You know what? I actually really like
Bamford and Rafinha. Bamford and Rafinha got the 2 goals.
Honestly, this is going to go off topic now, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. This show just does that anyway. But seriously, I cannot believe he has not been called up to the England squad. I'm absolutely baffled, in fact. And obviously, Ollie Watkins has had a relatively good season, but I really think that Bamford's made way more of an impact. And I just really cannot believe he hasn't been called up to the England squad. I know it's like not the real squad, it's just for the qualifiers, but yeah, but I still can't believe it. Oh, Southgate waistcoat is just, in my opinion, is a fraud. Well, probably, you know what we're going to do? Probably next week, obviously, is international break coming up. We'll do a whole Euros show next week because I would like to say things about Gareth Southgate, and I'm not going to get onto it tonight because the show is going to be over 3 hours long.
Eric Dyer.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
Eric Dyer has no place in that team whatsoever.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that like someone's preaching to me because I don't understand how Eric Dyer even tried to make qualification. I'm sorry, Eleanor, I really am, but how he even made qualification for England.
But it's your man that wanted to give him a new contract. So
it's not my man. It's Jose. It's Jose Mourinho.
You want to defend him, so I'm coming for you.
Do you know what? I'm not defending.
It's a favourite. It's really weird that he picked Dyer.
I'm not defending Mourinho's. I'm not defending Mourinho's tactics. I'm defending the circle of life in Spurs. That's what I'm defending.
But that doesn't mean we have to keep a manager.
But would you rather spend 35 million on kicking Jose?
Yes.
No, wait, hold on.
Yes, you're going to go over a player, over a centre back. Yes, over anyone.
I wasn't going to say centre back.
getting rid of Jose Mourinho right now rather than buying nobody.
We've started
But you're just
already.
wasting
We've started
money.
already.
You're
That is
wasting
the
money.
truth.
You're wasting
I'm not
money.
wasting
You
money.
could waste.
No,
You
way am I
are.
wasting
You
money.
can waste. You could.
That's not
Yeah,
true.
you could
That's
though.
not true.
You could
That's not
spend
true. That's not true
35
whatsoever.
million on a
And let me
new
tell you,
player
this
who
team
would
has
help.
Harry Kane, Son, Bale, and Ndombele, Højbjerg, Reguilon. That team can be better than 8th. That team can be better than 8th. I'll tell you that for a fact.
Right.
But you can't just fully blame
shortly.
Mourinho. You can't just fully blame Mourinho.
I
You
think that's
really
a Champions
can't.
League team, Eleanor.
I'm
Yeah,
frozen.
it's not-
Sorry, what'd you say?
It's not a Champions League
It's a
team.
Champions League team. Do you think it deserves top 4?
No one said top 4, but better than 8th.
I'm just asking.
I don't think so.
We're
Okay,
going
so
to
I-
get onto... Go on.
Hold
go
on.
Charles.
Can I have a question for you?
Move on.
One question for you. Okay. So if you get rid of Mourinho and you waste 35 million, just hear me out for a second.
It's not wasted.
Just can you just hear me out for a sec? If you get rid of Mourinho with 35 million and then Daniel Levy, because you know how stingy and how problematic and how spineless Daniel Levy is, and then he takes 35 million out of your budget. So he'll probably give you then 35 million. So you have 35 million to finish your problem. But you get a new manager and the same situation happens again.
No.
What
I'll tell you
then?
Okay, the whole team, that whole 11 gets into Zagreb's 11. That whole 11 gets into Zagreb's 11. So there is
No, it doesn't.
no...
Your goalkeeper
But
does
is that
not
because
beat
we don't watch
Zagreb's
Zagreb
goalkeeper.
enough to really know the quality of their team?
I
Do you
genuinely
think?
don't care. Right? This is just not true. That is terrible. 2-0 up. 2-0 up. And we're sitting here trying to make excuses for Jose Mourinho because these players cannot beat Zagreb 2-0 up. Don't get me
But your
wrong,
players look exhausted. Your players
why are
look
they
exhausted.
We started Tottenham too early.
Just to clarify, you can't just blame Mourinho because you can.
and then we'll have this convo. We'll have
You
this
can.
convo.
You
we're gonna
can't
come
blame.
on to Spurs anyway, so we'll get on to Spurs. Obviously, I know we always get off topic on this show. That's just the way it is. So you've got Porto in the next round. I'm going to come to you, Beth. Obviously, you looked a threat against Atleti. They didn't really do anything. Didn't need Mason Mount, obviously. Did pretty well without him. Maybe Mason Mount the problem. No, I'm joking. I'm just running a little cheeky Mason Mount agenda. You know, it's got to be in there. I don't have one.
Mason Mount agenda.
Everyone's probably going to cry in the comments now.
For some reason, I even like Mount. Like, why do I like Mount?
Just like
I pick someone else.
No, but you didn't need him. You played pretty well without him, in my opinion, even though if arguably probably been one of, if not the player of the season for you guys so far. Are you worried about Porto? Because obviously I've been seeing a lot of, this is the best draw we could have had out of the rest. We're not worried at all. This is our easy way to the semis, at least, to the final, if you will. But Porto obviously had a decent 2 games against Juve, who were, a strong side. Are you worried? Is this the draw you would want? Because I think it probably was from a lot of Chelsea fans.
Yes. Well, I think it's definitely the most favourable draw we could have gotten. So that's absolute facts. I don't think there could have been a better team we could have drawn. I'm very happy with it. I actually screamed as soon as it was picked on the TV. I actually screamed like my mum thought there was a spider in my room or something. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I expect to beat Porto. Obviously now this stage in the Champions League is sort of anyone's game. But I would expect us to beat Porto and go through to the semi-final. After that, I'm not too sure. I don't know who we'd be facing. I have an idea. I think it'll be Real Madrid, but that's a story for a different day. I am quietly feeling confident about Porto. But like I said, anything can happen at this stage in the Champions League. Like we could just not turn up. And then it would be over, wouldn't it?
Very true.
Hard to call.
I think he'll be okay though. Obviously Juve aren't great this season. We've seen that, and Porto managed to beat them pretty. The second leg was exciting, and Juve did their thing. But yeah, I personally think he'll be fine, and I hope, just for embarrassment's sake, that you do make it far, because I don't want to lose to a side and then goes and loses at Porto.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh my god, that's a nightmare. Charlotte, are you happy with the draw? Because I'm assuming as well you're probably on the same way.
You know what? I mean, I'm really happy with the draw, to be honest. I mean, Porto was for me personally, I'm not saying we should underestimate Porto, but they played a Juve side that is being coached by Pirlo, who, like Lampard, has no experience and is absolutely destroying a team, just like Lampard did. And that's no offence to him. Like I said to Lampard, Lampard is a foot club legend, and he will always be the football legend. And Pirlo is an incredible footballer, and I'm never going to take that away from him. But his coaching skills, man, for Ronaldo to go missing for 90 minutes on the first leg, and really we not see much of him in the second leg. Like Porto played well. I'm not playing in the second leg. Porto gave them, even though Juve came at them, Porto really did. Like
that was one of the best games
Yeah,
I'd watched
that really
in a
was.
long time. Like what a game of football for a neutral.
I just think that Porto is probably the easiest option out of what we
the best option, I would say. Yeah.
For me personally, I can see Chelsea making it to the final. I'm not even playing. I'm saying this with chest now. I can see Chelsea making it to the final. I would like to face Real Madrid more than I would Liverpool, on the count that we've already beaten them once this season. So, I mean, I'd like to play Real Madrid. Also on the Eden Hazard level as well. Like, I'd like to kind of have a reunion and then send him back to Real Madrid. Bye.
I don't think we'll be having a reunion anytime soon because he's another one in the hospital, baby.
Yeah, literally.
Obviously, I mean,
he's out.
It is pretty sad because
he likes a little cookie. Leave him alone.
He might travel though to come to
Burger King. He likes a Burger King because he was trolled on Twitter for Burger King.
I mean, to be fair, he did put weight on. Not gonna lie, he did put weight on.
Fat Hazard isn't like a weird thing though. He would always come back for pre-season all chubby.
I love it.
I'm not gonna lie.
We all know what it's like when we want that extra cake, so I just love it that he's a normal guy that puts on a bit of weight. You know, you know what I mean?
I think it is kind of sad because obviously there's been talk that if he needs ankle surgery again, that he might not even play ever again. I mean, that is like the biggest fall from grace ever of like a player. Like he genuinely, I mean, obviously I know you experienced the whole Terrace thing, and I will not have anything bad said about my El Nino because he's like my favourite person in the whole wide world. But the Hazard that was at Chelsea and that went to Real Madrid, I just don't think we've ever seen him again at the form that he was at Chelsea. Like he's just not the same. Obviously we've got a chat here from Zach. Don't forget Champions League is different gravy. You've reached the quarterfinals after how long? I just can't wait to face you after we take our revenge on Real Madrid. And if you beat Porto, then we'll slap you. That's obviously a Liverpool fan.
Just to clarify, we've already beaten you in the Premier League. Your team have to like actually beat Real Madrid first. Just remember, all I have to say is one word: Benzema. The man, like, all I'm saying is one word.
And with Liverpool's defence this season.
Liverpool's defence is absolutely appalling. And you're coming at me saying you're going to beat me. Mate, even Werner can get... I'm not even... Any of our players, even some of our academy players are getting through that. I'm sorry. I'm not even worried about Liverpool. I'm really not. Like,
are you saying Liverpool come outside, Charlotte?
Yeah, I am saying Liverpool come outside. Liverpool have done this to themselves. Just because you have injuries doesn't give you an excuse to perform poorly. They still have good players.
True.
Do they not? Yes, they do. So you want to come at me and say that like that Liverpool are like fighting for life, but it's their fault. They are the reason. They're the reason that they're fighting for their place in the Champions League so hard because they've done this to themselves. Premier League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, like they've done this to themselves. Just remember that. They have done this to themselves. They have incredible players and they're not turning up. And for me, like I think Liverpool should.
I just saw a comment on the comments. Benzema versus Kabak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not looking good for Liverpool. I mean, I think if they want to rectify, obviously, the whole situation that's going on with them at the moment in the league, they're going to have to do something and they're going to have to get through. But I just can't see it. Like, obviously, I mean, I even think, despite Ramos playing defence, I even think he could possibly, destroy them, really. Obviously, you've got Benzema versus Kabak. I mean, that's not going to be, battle of the century. Let's be honest. I mean, I can only see one winner in that. Sorry, Liverpool fans. I am genuinely sorry that you're going. Am I sorry? I'm not really sorry that you're going through this. No offense. I don't think anybody is really. But I do like Liverpool. They're all right. They're not offensive to me. And I think I love Klopp, and I think he's great. Apart from when he blames the wind for losing. But we have a lot of managers that make ridiculous excuses for losing, because Jose once said that Spurs are suffering from sadness.
My manager's Jose Mourinho. Everyone, hi, welcome to the
You're suffering from sadness with Kane, and when Kane was injured. But no, I mean, obviously we've touched on Liverpool a little bit.
Get the violins out. We can't play without one player.
Calm down. We're going to get there. Well, it's going to take up half an hour of the show. I think this whole Spurs situation. So we'll see. Just calm down until that point, and then you can just unleash your rage. God, I couldn't speak then.
See it bubbling.
So we've touched on Liverpool slightly. Obviously, they had 4-0 in aggregate. I mean, that was only going one way. We're gonna, because of their manager, because of Leipzig's manager Nagelsmann, I'm going to touch on that when we talk about Spurs, Eleanor, because I know obviously you've expressed that you like Nagelsmann and you would like to see him take over Spurs. There was talk about it at one point. So we'll touch on that later on. I'm not going to get into it now because we're going to get into Spurs too early again, and we've got a couple of Champions League games still to go. So obviously City won again. They're trying to win the Champions League this year. They're trying to win the quadruple. That's still on. Obviously the league is pretty much, I wouldn't say it's over and done with, because technically it's not yet, not mathematically, but in reality I think it probably is done at this point. Again, they were another 4-0 in aggregate against Gladbach. De Bruyne with an absolutely unbelievable goal. He's back now. Their midfield have been really, really solid this season. I don't think there's any beating them, to be honest, in my opinion. But do you think they can win the Champions League? Because obviously there is teams like Bayern still in there. Chelsea have done really well so far. So do we think they can win? Do we?
I think they've got a good chance. They're an amazing team. I think yeah, they haven't got obviously they haven't got great history in the Champions League. I mean, I know that, which was fun. But generally, City just tend to mess it up. But I just feel like this season their team is too good. City are they're just so good. You watch them and you're like, wow. Even when they don't play well, they still play much better than the majority of Premier League teams. It's crazy. So I just think that they can do the quad. They can do the quadruple. To be fair, they've got us in the League Cup. Do you know what I mean? It's possible.
Yeah, and obviously with the form you guys on right now,
so I just think that generally, if they go into this with all of that behind them, we're going to win this, we're going to win that, we're going to win that, and they go into the Champions League with that morale, anything can happen.
Yeah, it's got to be a point where they don't let the pressure get them this time, because that's what always has happened. They've always let the pressure get to them, because Pep and the club are so desperate for a Champions League, aren't they? So they've always... Yeah.
It's not that they don't have the quality, it's genuine mentality, which is crazy, because you're winning Premier Leagues after Premier League, so you shouldn't have a mentality problem, but it's just in Europe. They're like a different team when you play them in Europe, because it's like they go in their shells a bit, whereas this season you haven't seen that at all. Okay, they did play Gladbach, which is different, obviously, with the Markover situation. I really liked him as a manager. He's disappointed me the way he's announced the Dortmund thing. So yeah, I can't defend that really. So I just think that your dressing room's not playing for you. That would have been hard for them as it is. But generally, they just look too good. So I think that they're a really good team, and I think Dortmund could.
Well, there's a couple of comments saying that Dortmund might beat City, but there's also a lot of comments saying that
City will beat them.
But it could,
I think so.
I think it'll be easier than other years.
I'm not saying it. I think the problem you have is that Dortmund's defence. Let's have a discussion about that right now, or not have a discussion about that and talk the fact that their defence isn't the best in action. I'm not saying that Dortmund don't have good players. They got Haaland, they got Sancho, cool story. But when you don't have a defence that's 100%, you're always going to struggle. And City for me are a team that's just getting goals for fun now. They're not actually getting goals because they need goals.
Because I mean, their attack hasn't been, even their attack at the beginning, that was part of the problem, wasn't it? Because obviously they were missing Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, however you say it, Jesus, whatever you want me to say, Jesus, wasn't because just butchered the pronunciation there because I was trying to get my words out too quick. He wasn't on form at the time, but Mahrez has obviously come and has now really picked up form. I mean, Jesus even has started scoring again. De Bruyne is just, De Bruyne. Gundogan's been scoring their goals.
Yeah.
So they haven't really missed not having that particular goal scorer, if you will, because they've had goals coming from everybody else. I mean, even John Stones has got his first Premier League goal of his career this season and has just continued from that point to pick up form. So I agree. I really genuinely think that they could win it. I don't see why not when they are so good. But obviously they're going to be against their protege, their transfer target in Haaland. So we'll see if he shows up or not and whether or not he is going to get a move to City in the summer, because we don't know at this point where he is going to go.
I think you have to like maybe look at it though. I'm not saying it's going to be the easiest game in the world. I think Dortmund will give them. I think the first leg's going to be close. I think the second leg is where you're going to see the point that Dortmund's defence starts to fail. You can't, like, Diaz and Stones have been really good recently, like, really good. Like, their defence are getting goals, like, their defence are getting goals is when you know that you've got a little bit of a problem that all their players can get goals. Like, it's not just it's not just their striker.
Yeah, they're not relying on a striker. Yeah, that's what
no,
I mean.
they're not. They're relying on everybody else as well. Like, I think it's made very clear when they didn't actually put much of a striking force out in the last match. They was more just defensive, which I think is very telling. And usually by now, Man City do have a kind of history of failing in the Champions League. They like to kind of drop out. We
gave him a good game, yeah?
I think that Dortmund will lose to City. I don't think it's going to be far apart, but I think City will take it.
What were you going to say, Beth, before? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think with City, do you not get the impression they might have just peaked a bit too early? They're going to wear themselves out. I've got this feeling they've sort of gone on this run and got all this momentum, and I think they might just start to lose it as it gets closer to the time. I think they're gonna get the cup. I want to call it the Carling Cup. It's not called that anymore, is it? Carabao Cup. Yeah. And
now, guys.
I just think with Dortmund, they might be able to get through. I think that's going to be a bit more of a whoever scores the most is going to go through in that game. I think it might be really close. But if they go through, I don't actually see them beating who I think will win between Bayern and PSG, which is Bayern. I don't think they're going to beat them and get through to the final. So I think it's just going to be another thing, one of them hand in hand every year. City flop Champions League, Spurs do a Spursy. It's just what you get. Sorry, Ellen, I had to.
So who do you think is going to win out of Bayern and PSG, Beth? Because obviously everyone said Bayern are favourites for the Champions League this year. We all know the form that Lewandowski's on at this point. I mean, in my opinion, best striker in the world at this moment in time, with the form and the amount of goals that he's had this season, last season even. So I can't really see it being anything but Bayern, because I feel like they are the favourites to win the Champions League. But obviously PSG have got the players, they've got the personnel, they've got the quality to give them a good game. They have. They've got Eleanor's favourite person. They've got Poch in the manager. I was gonna slightly make a comment about Poch bottling like major games. Champions League game, but I'm not going to pressure. I'm not going to antagonise you anymore. I don't think, because we'll just not go there because now we've said it. Okay, before we go on to the Europa League, I want to get everyone's predictions. I personally think Bayern are going to win it. I'm going to come to everybody and ask who you want to win. So, Eleanor, who do you think is going to win the Champions League?
I think City. I think they'll do it this season.
Yeah.
I do get your point though. Beth. I genuinely, that is a good point to make, and it could possibly happen that they have peaked because they weren't doing so well before, and everyone sort of writ them off, and then now they've peaked at some next level. So it is possible, but I just think that it's going to be the year that they finally do it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I can see it. It's not like so far out of the park. Beth, who do you think is going to win?
Bayern Munich, yeah. Obviously, I want to say Chelsea, but I'm trying to be realistic here, and I think the final will be Bayern Munich and Real Madrid.
You don't want to say Bayern come outside and get clipped up, and everyone's going to be like, Beth said Bayern come outside.
Bayern can stay inside. I don't want Bayern. I'm not going to do a prime. Bayern stay inside. I don't want
a yellow card there. I thought you were like yellow card.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've got paper. It's from my revision.
So
Charles, who do you think is going to win?
PSG.
Okay.
Go! I'm with that.
You think they're going to be? You think they're going to be Bayern?
Well, do you know what? PSG are capable of doing it. They also, if you look at what happened, this is a rematch of last year's final. Who has more to lose in this game? Bayern Munich, the current champions, or PSG? Now, for me, I see PSG wanting retaliation. I see them wanting this more. I'm not saying Bayern Munich don't want it, but I'm saying that PSG want that kind of redemption. It's like the redemption story. For me, PSG are capable of beating Bayern Munich. Not saying it's going to be like an easy road, but I think they're capable of doing it. So yeah, and I think if PSG beat Bayern Munich, it's game over for everyone else. I think it's.
Yeah, I definitely, because obviously if Bayern are the favourites and PSG then go beat them, surely they're going to be the favourites. So,
but I mean, either way, I'm not really fussed either way, because either way, one of the two favourites is being kicked out of the league.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joe.
That's true. I think a lot of the ties in both Europa and the Champions League have been like that, because obviously Ajax and Roma play each other in the Europa League as well, which is probably arguably the best, the most exciting tie from the Europa League as well. So, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Champions League is going to be quite close this year, which is unusual. So, yeah. So, everyone's been asking in the comments, let's go on to Spurs, let's go on to Spurs. So, guys, we're here. There's nearly 300 of you watching right now, which is amazing. Thank you, everybody. Please make sure you like the video as well. Thank you for everybody in the comments as well, just before we get on, because I don't think I'm going to get much of a chance to speak for the next while, because Eleanor has one opinion and Charles come in and said, you're not going to like my opinion, Eleanor. So
no, but I want to get on to things at my club as well, like not just Jose, because there's a lot of things
which we're not going to get into Jose
needs to be said.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, this is going to sound like I'm attacking. I'm not. I'm just going to state some facts. Obviously, lost a 2-0 lead against Zagreb, and obviously ended up 3-2 on aggregate, which wasn't great to lose a 2-0 lead, but also to be beat 3-0 was just a nightmare. I mean, for you guys. First of all, there's been a lot of controversy, obviously, surrounding the whole game, surrounding comments after the game, obviously made by Terrace, who said that actually Mourinho went out and said, attack, go for it, and the players haven't listened to the instructions and have went defensive. So there's that. Obviously, there's people blaming Jose and his tactics that have been not just that game, but have been a consistent subject in the Spurs community of, the way Jose sets up games, the way that you go out to what I always say about Newcastle is that we go out not to lose. We don't go out to win, we go out not to lose.
That's my problem.
Yeah, which I feel is like a similar sort of thing. So, obviously, I'm going to come at you, Eleanor, because obviously you are the resident Spurs fan on the show. Was it the tactics, or was that just an element to the whole loss that obviously was Jose's fault? Because I know everyone knows who watches the Terrace, you're not Jose's biggest fan, let's be honest.
No.
You're not. You have your reasons, and that's perfectly fine. Whatever everybody else thinks, you're allowed to have an opinion, you're allowed to have your reasons. Yeah. But was it tactics? Do you think the players didn't listen and they are just set up in that way because they've been coached that way? Or do you think just the players weren't good enough to keep that lead yesterday?
Do you know what? Right, there is a lot of things, and I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, that he's setting us up totally defensive. Let's just say, let's go devil's advocate here, and whatever I believe is not irrelevant right now. Let's just say that he set us up the most attacking possible. Okay, the fact that they didn't listen is a room. That's an issue. My Wi-Fi's being
yeah,
really
it's bugging.
dead
It's
right now.
bugging at the worst time. Like that it could go
I
wild.
know.
It doesn't want to have
yeah.
a Jose agenda. It's a Jose sexual. Go on.
I know, but what I'm saying is, for example, if he's lost the dressing room, that's an issue, right? If you're sitting there saying to me, "I've set you up attacking," and you're just not listening, then you have to go. But I'm not. Don't get me wrong; these players are disgraceful. Okay, disgraceful. You
Shout out a gal in the comments, by the way. Sorry, Eleanor. Go on.
You don't want to play for the manager, okay? But you play for that badge, though. You're not playing for my badge. You're not playing for my club. You are a disgrace. Now, I'm not sitting here saying the players do not take no blame, because that is disgraceful, by the way. If you're going to go out there and purposely not play football, then yeah, fine. But don't get me wrong. Those players are enough to beat Zagreb 2-0 up when they've literally just put their manager in prison, by the way. So,
a manager in prison out tactic Jose. I just can't
honestly,
deal with it.
who looked like they had their manager in prison? Was it us or was it them? Because honestly, we were not in that game at all, being 2-0 up as well.
I saw a funny comment on Twitter yesterday as well. It's like the wrong manager's in prison.
Honestly, I'm like, well, you can't say this master tactician, right? Don't get me wrong. Also, as I've said many times, his football to me doesn't outdate. You can't outdate playing defensively. I mean, Atletico do it. Like, you know that. Like that is your, the football that they play. So do you know what I'm trying to say is, it's man management for me. You can't sit there and in this day and age now and grab a player and shake them and tell them how bad they are and expect them to play for you. I think that in this day and age strips them the other way. So for me, it's not style of play. I don't like the style of play, but that's not what's outdated. When I say he's outdated, it's his man management skills. And he, to me, is not really a people person.
Yeah, I think if you've had problems at every club you've been at, I mean, there's going to be a running issue, if you will.
Yeah.
It usually happens after like 3 seasons. It's just escalated.
It's just happened too quick at Spurs.
Of course, we get it. We get the crap before we get the good. Like, of course.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's really Spursy to have Jose and not even get the success part.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm trying to say is, if he can play any style of football, because I'm not sitting there saying he got his targets in, but you agreed to certain targets that you should coach better. West Ham don't have a better team than Tottenham. Let's be honest now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And we just look like every time we play, it's like we're down and out.
Oh, she's frozen again.
Now, I just...
You're frozen. Honestly, Jose is literally controlling your Wi-Fi right now.
Honestly.
He's like, nope.
Honestly, I just want to say, like, the last thing I'm going to say is, everyone's saying, oh, but they've down tools. What makes you think they won't down tools for another manager? That's fine. But whose job is it to keep morale up? It's the manager's job. Why is every other big six able to drop players, right? And, their team still play as a team. What I'm trying is, if I'm at work and my manager's making my whole feel like crap every day, I'm gonna then go, this manager needs to be sacked. Whose job is it? It's the manager's job to keep morale up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my wife, honestly. But yeah, it's the manager's job to keep morale up, and you're not keeping morale up. And to be honest, Mourinho needs to be sacked. That doesn't mean that there's not other problems at my club. My owners are a problem, but you can't say right now Jose Mourinho isn't also a problem. And
obviously, it's easier to sack the manager because that's the most tangible asset to a club, isn't it? The manager's easy. You can't get rid of players that easily because they're, it's easy just to buy players. Like, you know, it's
Oh,
easier
yeah,
to sack the
exactly.
manager. Because, I mean, I've said this in my own position, and I know it's completely different, but it's not as easy to just get rid of an owner. It's not as easy just to get rid of a player. So the manager is always the most tangible asset to get rid of.
And
and you sometimes do get a new manager bounce
when
as well.
I wanted Poch to stay, all I heard from Jose fans that, you know, when he came in was, you know, it's a results business. Well, if it's a results business, I'm looking at the results now against top 8. And, you know, anyone in the top 10, by the way, we've lost in the last 8. We've got 8 straight defeats in the top 10 teams. You're telling me we couldn't go toe to toe with Arsenal? That's not true. Regardless if you're not telling them to attack or not, they're not listening to you. That's a problem. And yeah, these players are a disgrace, and there is no denying that. But I also think you might have, for me, like Ndombele, for example, you're telling him like you're crap all season. Yeah, he's in the team now. Cool, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you know, you still might have that in the back of your mind. And I think a lot of other players like Uri are storming out at half time. There could be problems, and then they're talking outside together. And then they're saying, you know what, I don't want to play for him anymore. That's a disgrace. I'm not saying that's a good thing. That is a disgrace. But
yeah, because you don't play for the manager, do you? You play for the club, really, and you play for the respect and the club. So, yeah.
You're disgracing my club, and I'm not saying that's okay. As much as I'm not Jose's fan, you do not do that, okay? But I'm saying there is obviously a problem with the manager. You can't sit there and say, yeah, every team we've lost to, but, you know, your team's not good. You're not that good. It's not true. Our team is better than a lot, not better, maybe on par with a lot of these with these players. And by the way, anyone says, you know, you lot want too much. Why are you expecting so much? That's annoying. That's bullshit to me, because at the end of the day, I've been patient for 20 years. I haven't seen success in 20 years. So I should be able
You're allowed to
say,
want your club to do better. Do you know what I mean? It's not delusional to want your club to do better. Like, I get that.
And at the end of the day, we act like a big club. Off the pitch, we act like a big club.
Yeah.
So it's everything other than that. And that's all I've got to say, really. It's everything's an issue. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say Jose isn't one. And it's not his style of play, because people are going to say, yeah, what did you expect? I don't like the style of play, but I expected it. It's not that. It's man management for me, because I think that might be the issue here.
Yeah. And as I say, obviously, he's had this problem with pretty much every club he's ever been at. There's always, you know, well, aside from probably the last club he didn't was possibly Chelsea. But I mean, at the end, that wasn't a good relationship either.
And for
problems
example,
at the end.
Samuel, I appreciate you asking me loads of questions, but yes, Poch had to be sacked. You know, he lost the dressing room personally because he said, "I'm leaving if we win the final." To me, that is a disgrace as well. When he said that, that is disgraceful, by the way. So don't.
She keeps freezing out.
Oh my god! Literally worst moments.
So
you're back. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, Poch also needed to be sacked, and what he said before that final was a disgrace to me, because you know, no one's going to want to play for you, and you do have
like, what's the point? What is literally the point? Because you're going to win a final, and then your manager's going to leave anyway.
And you know, the manager that got you there, that we loved as well. So I get that. I get them doing that, right? Not that it's okay, but I get why we had to sack him, because there was no coming back from that. But it's the same thing now, okay? They're down in tools again, probably because he's shouting at everyone and telling them they're crap, and it's not working. Like, it's just not. It's just not okay. And I just think, Poch had to go. And just as we have to admit, Jose has to go as well. Forget the points. The points are not an active reflection on how Tottenham are playing. And that doesn't mean that there's not issues at the squad, because the whole team's an issue.
Yeah, no, 100%. Thank you again, Strip Bear, for the super chats. We absolutely adore you, and thank you for modding the chat, because sometimes, not going to lie, this chat is wild. And she also says, tell Terry it's wine money. So, Terry Flewers, if you're watching, you know, there's £100 for wine money there. So,
good wine.
You know, just not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Not gonna lie.
Let's share.
Cheekily screenshotting that at the moment. Obviously, we've got another super chat here as well from Zion, who is just amazing with these super chats. Love it. He always is a regular watcher, a regular super chatter. So, big up to the ladies tonight. London is still blue, guys. Thanks for that, Zion. I'm having like PTSD of Chelsea at the moment. Jose has lost killer instinct. The guy's a fossil, and his team plays fossil football. Respect to all you ladies. Obviously, you've heard Eleanor's side of that. We know that, you know, Jose's tactics probably aren't up to the standards of, you know, the Pep, the Klopps of this current era. Jose was a special one, but I feel like he's possibly losing his special touch, even though I would love him at Newcastle. Like, I've said that for years. I don't know whether I would now, though, because, like, the way he's gone at the moment. If you can't
I just want to ask the Chelsea fans, do you want Jose? Because you lot...
they have like a nicer history with Jose. Like,
just to clarify,
or you want him now?
Just to clarify, I'm happy with Tuchel, thank you. If it had been with Lampard, I would have been a different answer for you. It would have been a different answer with you if I had Lampard. But I don't have Tuchel, so I'm happy. But my point, I'm going to come onto my side of the Spurs debate now, because like I see where Eleanor's coming from. I completely
Before you do,
see.
Shah, I'm just going to read out the super chat because obviously it'll probably disappear by the time you get finished with your Jose agenda. But
yeah, probably.
Problem we have is even if Jose goes and we get another manager, it'll be the same cycle as we have parasites running the club. Yeah, which you touched on, the board isn't the best in the world, and Levy doesn't, and whoever else, whoever what you call it, Enic or whatever it is.
Enic, yeah.
They don't invest enough to compete with the likes of a City, especially when you've got, the facilities, the stadium, everything else, the players, Kane, you've got Bale back now, Son too. You don't invest enough and care about the squad enough to compete at that level. So I completely understand that. I completely understand the owners obviously at fault here. But Charles, I know we're going to come on to you and obviously how you feel, because you kind of have not a different opinion to Eleanor. I guess you understand Eleanor, but you have a different viewpoint in terms of
now I understand if I'd been a Spurs fan and I'd been in Ella's shoes, I'd be saying the same thing. But I'm an outsider and I'm just seeing it from my point of view, which is just an opinion. Just to clarify this, I'm not going to be stating any facts or anything. I'm like, I just there's several things I have to say, and Ella, I don't mean to upset you right now. Like, I really don't. I have a lot of love for you, but I mean, have Spurs been a top 6 club? Because for me, like, the problem I have is they don't spend the money like a top 6 club does. They don't act like a top 6 club. The only thing that is top 6 about them is the fans. Some of the fans, not all fans, some of the fans that act like they're a top 6. As far as I'm concerned, Spurs for the last couple of seasons haven't been a top 6 club. I'm sorry.
They have finished in the top 6 though, haven't they, for the past few seasons?
No. I'm saying that. I'm saying that you can finish that, but just because you finish doesn't mean you act like it's like I'm not talking about how they play. I'm talking about the money.
Can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
This is about the money. Let me just ask you a question. So does that mean Poch overachieved then?
Yeah.
Overachieved then?
Yeah, 100%.
I think so.
Right now,
100%.
Jose's underachieving then.
100%.
Jose's maybe not underachieving. I think maybe he just is.
Can we just
done it wrong?
More money than
just
Poch
where
did.
it should be right now.
No. Can we just have a discussion? I have a question. Like, Mourinho's been here like how long?
No, 18 months too long.
No. I'm not saying that, but you're on your second season. I have a question for you. If Mourinho, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, I'm just hypothetically, I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
If Mourinho got you in Europa League, would you be happy?
No.
If Mourinho got you,
the man 15 million a season, no.
Okay.
Second highest paid manager in the league.
Okay.
Sorry, Alex. Thank you for your super chat, by the way. But Pochettino should have never been sacked. He said there will be decline. Mourinho should have never been considered. Which I've said from the start. I said Mourinho. I don't know if it's actually our Alex.
I feel like it was because that's what he joined.
Is it you, Alex? Is it our Alex? Just put in the comments if it is you.
Yeah, don't do another super chat.
Can I finish? Can I talk? Can I finish? Can I say something? That Alex? Is it that Alex? If it is, tell us, Alex, and we'll give you a shout out regardless. But I personally as well, I'll get onto you again next to Charlotte in a second, but I personally as well think Mourinho was stupid to take the job, knowing the fact that Pochettino, I mean, I know Jose's been back more than Poch, but knowing the board at Tottenham, I don't know whether they've like fed him false hope and said, we're going to back you up to the level that you deserve.
Yes, by the way, it's Alex.
Oh, it is Alex. Yeah. Shout out Alex.
Hi.
Come on, Charlotte, I'll let you finish though.
I think my problem is that like whether, because I know Eleanor wants Nagelsmann, and I think
Nagelsmann's get into in a second as well. Yeah,
I think he's a fabulous manager, but I can just see this cycle happening again and again, and it's not. I'm not blaming. I'm not saying Mourinho's tactics have been fabulous. He has this park the bus, which I don't think works for Spurs. I don't think it works because Spurs don't have the capacity to defend that well. If you get a goal in the first 10 minutes, Spurs don't have the capacity, but that's Mourinho's main tactic. So let's be real here.
Is that what we're saying? He can't adapt.
Pardon?
He can't
I'm not saying he can adapt.
Well,
He can adapt if you actually have decent defenders,
but
which you don't right now.
Attackers, then he should definitely.
No, I understand that. I'm not saying that. I've said, and I called him out on this. I think Beth was on the channel when I did. I said that Gareth Bale should have been played when Harry Kane was injured. I said that because I said, what's the point in Harry Kane being injured if you're not going to play Bale? If Mourinho, his man management is a problem, I understand that. I see that. Like if Mourinho had been, if Mourinho had actually been using Gareth Bale and switching up Bale and Kane, you wouldn't maybe have had Kane injury because Kane. This is the problem you have with Harry Kane, and it's like he plays all the time, and then he literally like. So like Harry Kane, he plays the whole season because he's carrying the whole team. He struggles and then he gets an injury because he's over-exhausted.
Which you've seen pretty much every season.
Yeah, literally.
Like, well, the past 3, I would say.
But this is the past 3 seasons we've seen that. So my point is why is Bale not being switched up for it? I see Eleanor's point of views on Mourinho, but I think before you deal with the manager, you have to deal with the board. And if you can't deal with the board before you deal with the manager, then you have a problem. Because if Nagelsmann comes in and, like, for Eleanor's sake, for Eleanor's sanity, I hope he does. For Eleanor's sanity, I pray he does. Not for anything else, but for Eleanor's sanity. What I hope is, but my worry is that even because Mourinho's backed, you've not actually spent money, like big money. Like you've never spent. Okay, when was the last time you spent like over 70 million, over 80 million?
I understand, but he agreed to this. He also said he got everyone he wanted and that he can do everything he wants with this team.
I mean, what's Jose on about? Because I mean, he literally loves Eric Dyer, and that's a problem. Like
that's what I'm saying.
That is a big problem to me. Like I don't know if it's like because he's Portuguese or whatever. Like, do you have any other Portuguese players? I don't know what's going on there because
I feel like
I cannot find a reason for it.
I'm not sure. It must be his dad because I'm sorry. This. You say, oh, he wanted a centre back. He hasn't got a centre back. He prioritised getting Højbjerg over getting centre back. So you wanted the DM as your main target because you thought you had the centre backs in Eric Dyer and you gave Toby a new contract. These, you know, when people say, oh, you know, you gave a new contract, so he'll go on a free. He was never getting a new contract to go. He was getting a new contract to be part of his main team. So don't forget that this is partly his defence. You coach it now. You asked for this defence. Like, I'm not saying that that's right. That's the way my club works. You can't just go and spend money and then buy. Like you can't. That's not. We're not a City where if one signing doesn't work, you just get to buy another.
Yeah, you get another
signing. Like that's just not what it's like. And if what Tottenham need, and this is the truth, we need a coach. And Jose Mourinho doesn't really. Why would he lower himself to start coaching players into being their players? He's a winner. He just needs the team to be ready to win. Whereas we need someone to coach a lot of these players. He got 7 signings through the door. My only issue is that he has actually been backed more than Poch was ever backed.
Yeah.
And you're not anywhere near it. As I say, I'm not going to sit here and deny that every manager at Tottenham Hotspur has a glass ceiling. I say that all the time. There's a glass ceiling at Tottenham Hotspur, which is going to stop you achieving. But Pochettino was banging on that ceiling and Pochettino was, you know, knocking on that door. Give me more money because I'm getting there. And he was never going to get the money. I understand that. But right now, we're not even getting near that ceiling. And that's a problem. We're sitting there saying that the board are the problem. I'm not denying that. That glass ceiling is there for every manager. But now we're nowhere near it. So at the end of the day, I have to look to the manager. I'm not sitting there saying he takes all the blame because these players are definitely capable of more.
Good, because I think a lot of people are saying that, and there are a lot of people like Jose out, that's it, and like they cannot fathom that it can coexist, that the board, the players, and the manager are all to
But the
blame.
thing
I
is-
think that's
Yeah, but the
problem,
first
yeah.
thing you deal with is the manager. And
Yep.
that's always the way it's gonna go. You deal with the manager, then you deal with the first team, then you deal with the board if they can start changing their ways. Now, you're saying, why do I get Nagelsmann in if he's not going to be backed? Nagelsmann won't be coming in to win instant success. This is the difference, and I'm not even denying that. There is a different expectation when you get Mourinho. He's not coming in to sort of build a success. He's coming in to win something quickly and then go. That's just what he's here for.
He's
Right,
not for longevity, is he?
And he's only really got one chance of that now, hasn't he? Because you are out of the Europa. So he's only got that one chance in the Carabao now.
Exactly.
To win.
And then at the end of the day, he's got to go after that. Like, I just feel like, we're sitting here saying, oh, but like, what's Nagelsmann going to get? He's going to be coming here to build something over a different period of time. And he would have to agree to that. What Mourinho did, which I don't blame him because we all did it. He saw that team making a Champions League final and thought, you know what, that team, the problem is Poch. I can get that team to win something.
Because the next level to a final is to win it, isn't it?
Yeah,
so, yeah. He probably has thought that. Yeah,
he thought he like overestimated this team. Thought, I can get that team to win something easily. Get them top 4, then I'll leave before it gets too bad. That's literally. Yeah. I mean, he said I'll get you a cup in top 4, right? When he in the first season he said that. Then he said I can win the league next season or whatever. But I just think that he's overestimated this team. Then when he's realised the rot. He's like, damn, I'm not really here for this job. And he's not here for the big job. He knows that himself. I feel like that's why would he want to be here for another 5 years trying to fix it? And I feel like everyone's saying, well, why are we going to do another rebuild? I'm sorry, but the ball ain't going nowhere. So I have to be honest at how we're going to get some sustainable success. The sustainable success is doing some sort of recruitment like Leicester. And hoping that we can get good players in, youngsters, coach them up, win the odd cup here and there. We're never going to be a sustainable winning leagues team under ENIC. That's a given, right? But right now, the issue is we got a manager to try paper over the cracks. And the cracks are going to go very deep in there. We need to start working on the team. And Jose isn't the manager to do that. And at the end of the day, as I say, he's in charge of morale. The morale ain't there. It's your
I think
job
that like
keep a
Zion
happy
Super Chat
environment.
here. Sorry, Elna. Zion Super Chat here like kind of links into what you're saying because he's saying, Levy, he went for a manager that wins trophies everywhere he goes, but the guy's a lost soul right now. Spurs isn't the team for him and never was. He's not top Premier League manager anymore. Simple.
Can I ask a question, Eleanor?
Yeah, go on.
So, because I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Mourinho does kind of like to turn up when it comes to a final. I'm not saying you are, but if you won the Carabao Cup, would you maybe think about like? No, I'm not. I don't know what I was going to say. Would you? No, I was going to say think about being nice to him till the end of the season.
If he wins, I'll be like, yes, but he has to go at the end of the season.
I'm asking if he wins it, can you be nice to him to the end of the season? You've made your decision.
If they win it and then they go lose like 7-0 to, I don't know, Aston Villa, she's going to be fuming, isn't she?
No, I understand that.
Well, no, because a trophy is what you wanted originally. Like Jose was brought in to win a trophy. Yeah. Obviously, at this point, it's kind of whether or not you are because you've got City in the final, But
I think the problem you're going to have is that if this has just come to me now, this might be Eleanor's worst nightmare. How long's Mourinho's contract? How long has he got left?
No, right, 3 years. But honestly, there's a break clause in it, which I've heard today, and we will pay him in monthly instalments the way that. No,
that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is if he wins a trophy, Spurs are going to want to extend that contract.
I don't know.
I'm not looking at how you think. I'm looking at how Levy will think.
Apparently, what the club has said today, I don't know if it's true, but there have been reports from like Matt Law and the Athletic and things saying that the Carabao Cup won't save him if he does. Like he needs to do more than the Carabao Cup, even if he wins it. I mean,
I think it's a case, right? I think it's a case of like not. Sorry to use this this expression, but it's kind of like an Arsenal because Arsenal are currently on a rebuild, right? And obviously they are currently in Europa League, so they do have a chance at a trophy. You as well, are needing a rebuild, regardless of what Poch did the season before. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Whether or not it's the coach, whether or not it's the players, you need a rebuild to compete at the top level, because there's teams like Chelsea who can just go out and spend money, Man City who can just go out and spend money. So you are going to need a rebuild, and obviously Mourinho isn't the type to sit there and coach particular players to be the best that they can be. Like, he's just not that sort of person. As you say, it's just an instant short-term success with Mourinho that it always has been. Well, not always, but definitely probably in the last 10 years, it's been an instant success thing. And
I feel
the success has been short-lived, and he's always been forced out of the club. So I do 100% agree with you on that respect. I just think, and I mean, I know you agree, but to the other Spurs fans who are just blinded now that Jose out, it is a whole club issue, because not a lot is going to change unless the mindset changes, in the sense of, okay, we need a rebuild from this point upwards, and that's where we're going to be at. Yeah, no, it is, but also you can't deny. I mean, as everyone says, it's a results business, right? The results are not there. And I'm sorry, I can't sit here and say Jose shouldn't be sacked after losing the way we are losing. As I say, we've got 8 straight defeats in top half teams. I mean, these are Arsenal being 10th. Like, and the way we had 1 shot in 70 minutes in a North London derby. I know, even when Tottenham are crap, by the way, like when we are bad, right? We definitely always have given them a game, no matter what. And we have a terrible record at the Emirates, so I'm not expecting us to go and like win and whatever I say on previews and stuff. That's me being confident, but generally we need to do things we don't play football. I mean, against Chelsea at home, Son had his first touch in their box in the 82nd minute or something. It was in the 80s when he had his first touch in the box. It wasn't good for you, and it wasn't good for you. And I just feel like at the end of the day, maybe we're not going to see the instant success that everyone's saying. Oh, what has he won? What has he won? I'm telling you, I'll enjoy my club better. I'm not enjoying watching us. I have to watch us. If any neutrals watch us, I feel sorry for you. Like, I have to watch us. Like, it's more exciting than us. Don't worry.
In general, though, you don't really enjoy Jose Mourinho football anyway. I will admit, even when you're winning, it's not the most exciting thing in the whole world.
No, but at least if you're playing this football, you've got to be getting the results. Playing this football and not getting the results is ridiculous.
So if you get a new manager at the end of the season, and in 18 months' time you're still in the same situation, then what?
But because the thing is,
I can see this happening. I mean, but it is though, because I'm not saying. He's not going to be here. Harry Kane and Son are going to be gone at the end of the season.
I feel like he's
I'm not saying maybe at the end of the season, but in January they're going. Because I'm sorry,
I don't think
in January. It's because. He has to go.
And does he need to go to?
He does, because he can't win a trophy. Kane and Son can't. If Harry Kane, and I'm going to be blunt here, he's 28. Yeah. If Harry Kane doesn't leave soon,
he's going to go, right?
Harry Kane, if he's 28, he's got to go. If he wants a trophy, he's got to go.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. He's got to go. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is, so when Poch was here under 5 years. Kane was happy to stay, by the way, because we were on the cusp of something big, right? So he was happy to be a nearly man. You're telling me Jose's made our club less desirable now because Kane won't want to stay?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That bad.
It's not even that. It's not that. No, it's not. It's not that. It's the fact that it's his age. He's getting on. He is getting on. Let's be realistic. He's getting on, and he hasn't got a Premier League trophy. He hasn't got.
I'm not saying
he hasn't got an F. He has to go if he wants.
I think he has to go if trophies are a determination of success. I think then he has to go.
Because he's not going to be classed as a legend. He's not going to be up there with anyone if he doesn't have a trophy.
A new manager comes in at the end of the season and he's happy
miracles happen,
and he understands that is going to be a little bit of a period of a rebuild. You're always going to get that new manager out, so that's fair enough, but it's not going to be, a long-term thing if the manager's not right. Unless he sees that, and obviously a Nagelsmann comes in, which is probably unlikely now because Bayern want to hold on to Flick, but they also have made contact with Nagelsmann's representatives and said that, you know, you can sort of pay him out of his contract at this point. So possibly Nagelsmann maybe isn't the man to come. We don't know. We don't know that yet. But if a manager like Nagelsmann comes in, I can see Kane staying. But I think depending on what happens in the summer, depending on what happens to the manager, where you guys finish, if you win a trophy.
It's also that dressing room. My thing dropped. It's also that dressing room. It's genuinely also that dressing room. That dressing room is also an issue.
Because I'm assuming it's toxic at the moment. I mean,
I think the players have got too much power, don't they? Because if they decide they don't like a manager, then the manager goes, and I think that's really wrong. But there's nothing you can do about it now. Like
Eleanor,
Alex Ferguson. You think if like any of those players had any power over Alex Ferguson, they'd be like slapped out of the club. It's not like that anymore.
He took the boot off Beckham's head.
Eleanor, if you can't have Nagelsmann, who would be your like second choice? Like who's your second choice?
It's hard because for me, I genuinely like I quite like Scott Parker, but that would be different. Potter, these are different. These are different sort of expectations, though. You're really going for a rebuild with them.
You're not expecting a trophy.
This is what I mean. You're really going for a rebuild with them. But then again, this is the thing. It's very hard. I think we've got to go all out and try and get Nagelsmann, because we're in a really bad situation. At the end of the day, offer him a contract like you offered Jose Mourinho. You got us in this position. You now pay our way out of it. For me, the board needs to be held accountable because they tried to paper over the cracks with this team getting Jose, and I don't deny that. Like, genuinely, you got him and you expected him to do some impossible job without rebuilding the squad. But Jose isn't the long-term manager, so he probably agreed to doing that because he just wanted something quickly. Yeah. Now, I guarantee you, when we're saying in 18 months' time, we will not be in the same position. I genuinely, hand on heart, think any manager can beat more than 2 teams in top 8 and top 10 in 8 straight games. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I feel like any manager can be doing better. We're losing every game now anyway. What would be the difference if we just left it with Ledley, for example? What's the difference? I genuinely want to know what we're paying this man 15 million for him to show me his CV every time I speak about him.
Yeah, because realistically, he's not doing the job he was meant to do, and that's win a trophy. Well, we don't know that yet, because it may just be like, you may win Carabao Cup. We don't know. That's
if we win the Carabao Cup, I will be I'll be thank you, but you still got to go, because we still got to address this team. You can't just sit here and stay for another season. And I don't want to lose out on a good top manager because we kept him for one inevitable season.
Yeah. Do you think Daniel Levy is going to get rid of Mourinho at the end of the season or not? Like, I'm genuinely just asking, because for me, Daniel Levy, he's spineless, man. The man's spineless, like.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mourinho, if Mourinho got mad, Mourinho would scare him. Like, I've got this image in my head. No, it's just a beautiful image of Mourinho shouting at Levy, and Levy being like, but
you know what? This will be the one, as I said from the beginning. This is the problem. You know, this will be a good thing at the end of the day. The one good thing about Jose Mourinho, if he leaves in a toxic environment, at least he'll out that board for what they are. Because I've been ENIC out for ages, right? For ages. But generally, like, I just feel like he's here to do a job, and that's fine. But this team, if it is as bad as everyone says, well, I think personally the team is not as bad as everyone said. But I think that, if the team's that bad, he's just not here for that.
I'm just going to address a super chat as well, because obviously it says, Nagelsmann or Rodgers, but whoever comes in when Jose eventually is, our recruitment needs to be spot on. Great show, ladies. Thank you for your super chat, John, by the way. Thank you, Alex, as well, for the super chat as well. I forgot to say that before. Just personally, I don't think, I'm not sure why Rodgers would come from Leicester.
Yeah, now there's no need.
Invest in their team. They've just got a new training ground. You know, the owners actually care about the club. I don't think Rodgers is, personally, in my opinion, going to do that. I just don't see that. I think if they're going to get a manager, it's going to have to be someone from like a Potter or like a Scott Parker, who can see more of a project with Tottenham because they've got the money, over, like a Rodgers, who, because really, in reality, the club's not a downgrade, but the current predicament is a downgrade, isn't it? So, but obviously, we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen at this point. You know, it's just all up in the
So
air.
we are coming off
Spurs are
the
just
back of a really bad North London derby defeat. So at the
yeah,
end of the day,
and obviously losing. Well, I'm going to say losing, crashing out of Europa League and losing a North London derby within a week is
you
just
expect a reaction, and there was none. So
Yeah.
this is a lot of emotion built up, and that's why it's so aggressive right now. But if there were fans in the ground, Jose probably would have been sacked by now. Because you know we're playing terrible football and we're not getting the results. So, but
yeah.
I get it, and I get to keep. Well, it's only a few games left. I get it, like genuinely, I do. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that the players do not take any blame, because they certainly do. And when it's the first thing you address as the manager, that's just the only reason why I focus so much on Jose. That's the first problem you address. Then after you address everything else, because you can't just send 11 players with no contracts out the door. Like, it's just not possible. So yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I think
that's all I wanted to add.
obviously, yeah. As I said, like a couple of minutes ago, obviously, there's got to be understanding that the three things can coexist: the manager, the players, and the board all have an issue that exists. And unfortunately, right now, Jose is going to be the target man of the issues, because he is the most tangible asset. He's the most easily removable. Whatever his release clause is, 25 million or whatever people are saying, 35. I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
do you know what? The only thing I agree with Eleanor on is that if Mourinho gets sacked, he is going to absolutely expose Spurs for the people they are. He is going to expose your board. He is going to expose every problem
He's sitting
that you
there
have.
clapping them, saying, "I've got every single first target I wanted. This is the exact signings I wanted." And it's like, you're supposed to be
wait till he gets sacked. Wait till he gets sacked.
I get that.
I don't think he has. If he has, he wouldn't be like acting up like he is, and he's kind of.
It's funny.
Just to clarify, just Eleanor, when he gets sacked, it's the minute you're going to know, you're going to see the Mourinho that you don't want to ever mess about with. The Mourinho that's going to absolutely pull you.
That's fine. But I'm just saying, at the end.
No, but that's a good thing though, because he's gonna make everyone aware of Levy and all of that, your boards and everything. He's gonna expose them. You're probably gonna find things out that you didn't know about, and then at least it's out in the open.
Do you know what's annoying though? What's annoying is that everyone says Højbjerg, his signing, because he's a great signing. Doherty, not his signing, not a good signing. It's like, so the way it works is, if it's good, it's Jose signing. Bad, not Jose signing. That drives me insane. They were all your signings. Stop trying to hide from them.
And Jose has made some questionable signings in his career, let's be honest. So he can't be fully to blame. But that's Spurs chat done. We know everyone's opinions. I don't think at this point your fan base is going to agree with each other whatsoever.
No,
because they're not. It's Jose's history and his reputation that precedes him, I think, because obviously people think he's going to be a trophy winner, and it's just taken a while, that's all. Thank you, Zion, for all of your support tonight. Like, honestly, genuinely amazing. Thank you, everybody who's put super chats in. We're going to run over the show a little bit because I'm in charge and I'm allowed. And we've still got a couple more points that I'm going to bring up, because they're not going to be really any results related. I was going to get onto Arsenal Man United, but there is really no point, because Jess is normally here. She's not with us tonight. She will be probably back with us next week, and she's the Arsenal correspondent. And we've had a Spurs chat. Arsenal have gone through, so we don't want to subject Eleanor to any more pain on that note. But yeah, Arsenal's Arsenal, Man United's Man United. So we're going to get into a little bit of a controversial topic, if you will, right now, just based on all of the Europa League results that have happened, and it's obviously the racial abuse that was Glen Kamara was allegedly subject to in the Rangers Slavia Prague game. Obviously, Arsenal have drawn them in the Europa League, so we will see what happens there. But obviously, I'm not going to let you get political, because I know a lot of people don't like to get political and they don't like to spread their views. Anyone who follows me on Twitter and watches me on YouTube knows that I am not scared of spreading my views.
I'm not either.
We've seen the videos that have... Yeah, I know, Shal, you obviously speak out on it a lot as well. We've seen the videos that have been spreading, and we've seen, the alleged comments that were made from the Slavia Prague player, I forgot his name now, to Glen Kamara. And obviously, in my opinion, if you watch the video, 2 players heard him say the exact same thing, heard the Slavia Prague say the exact same thing. So in my opinion, I don't think you can sit there and say that Kamara's a liar. Because
but
2
why
players heard him.
why is he running across the pitch to whisper something in his ear?
Yeah,
that's
you could have
my
just shouted
question.
it if it wasn't bad.
Like
yeah,
literally, if you were calling him an effing guy, like there's nothing wrong with that. Say it out loud.
Yeah,
say it out loud.
Exactly. That's why he's whispered it, because it's obviously
but
wrong.
I'm also I'm pissed off with Slavia Prague. Their statement made my blood boil. How can you try and disguise racism, try and sweep it under the rug and say, oh, Kamara punched him? Well, I bloody hope he did.
Good.
And I hope it hurts.
Good.
I hope it hurts.
The only issue is now, my issue with that is obviously, don't get me wrong, I back Kamara all the way. If the racial abuse happened, which I'm assuming it has now, I don't think you can call him a liar.
No, I don't either.
If it's happened, then I back him all the way. I'm not condoning violence in any sense, but I have no sympathy for people like racists who get slapped up. I have no sympathy.
I think the problem is that like UEFA now have a chance to make a stand, and they have a chance to ban this. There's too many things about this situation that look shoddy. The fact that he had to run across the pitch and whisper, like cover his mouth. You only cover your mouth if you don't want someone to hear it. If 2 other players heard it, like, this is ridiculous. Like, how can Slavia try and justify this? And why the hell is this even happening? Like, this frustrates me so much, to be honest.
We've seen a massive rise in it over the past, I would say, a couple of months, with players getting racial abuse. Obviously, we've seen these incidents in the past. England played, I think it was Bulgaria, maybe last year, and it happened there. Millwall, there was issues there. And even at that point, this country is like Big Brother, right? We can see everything everybody's doing all the time, no matter what anybody says. And they couldn't pick out a couple of, however many racist fans there was, out of a crowd of 500, which in my opinion was wrong, and it's not right. I just want to get your opinions, because I have spoke about this before on several occasions. I personally feel like at this point, the punishments need to match the incident. So they need to be more harsh, because a couple of grand fine, like I think Bulgaria got fined like £4,000, possibly less, when the England incident happened. I think the punishments need to be excessive, like points deductions, in terms of like tournaments, disqualification from a tournament, in my opinion, because until you hit people where it hurts, it's not going to change.
But this is my point. Everyone thinks they can get away with it. And I'm not saying that in a horrible way. I'm saying in the fact that these like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they need to make sure that your social security number, your national insurance number, or your passport, your driving license is all on there for you to be able to create an account. Because you shouldn't be allowed to create an account unless you're going to be able to be held accountable for your actions. Fact. But they're not going to do it because of money. Secondly, UEFA aren't going to be strict on restrictions because of money. Let me tell you something now. This man should be banned for life. Fact. He shouldn't be allowed to do it, and he should face police action, because that's unacceptable. I'm sorry. How are we being so lenient on these people? Like, it's actually a joke. Like, I'm sorry.
Like like the corporations, if they don't care because it doesn't necessarily affect them, the people in charge, it doesn't affect, because it's usually most of the time white people, so it doesn't really affect them in the sense of they're not going to feel as obliged to do something, which is wrong. They're not going to feel as obliged to do something because it doesn't affect them.
And like making them take the knee before the games, saying like kick it out, like all the adverts. Do you remember the players where they were like say no to racism before every match? That ad would play on the TV. What's the point of doing all of this if when you get a situation you're not going to do anything about it? Slavia Prague should be disqualified. Rangers should take their place. The player that did the racist abuse shouldn't be allowed to play football again. Like, they need to have serious consequences for the things that they say, because it's not.
But they're not going to. They're not going to.
It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
And this is the point. Like, they're not going to, because firstly, like, the corporations make too much money, and they don't want to lose their money. Like, are you taking the pee? That, like, this is I'm never going to understand what these people go through, but I'm never, ever not going to voice my opinion on it. I'm never not going to keep fighting and being like, can we please like stop this? Like, it's so disgusting. Like, I literally can't deal with this. Like, it's so frustrating for me because you can see yesterday that it happened. There's so many signs that it happens, and if more than one person hears it, what? So 3 people are just going to randomly make it up on a young kid who's just starting his career.
And you could tell it wasn't like Glen Kamara. I can't remember what the other guy's name was, Goldson possibly. You could tell he never told him what he said. They both at the same time were like,
they ran.
Did you just
exactly.
hear what he said? So
they both ran at the same time.
They haven't come together and been like, right, we're going to say he said this. You can literally see that both their reactions. And to be fair, honestly, at this point, I would not be surprised if in the future a player literally just is on site on the pitch, because if that was me and I heard that, like, I would genuinely. And the issue is now, obviously, I'm not going to like get dragged into this because we're nearly coming to an hour and a half now. But obviously, the problem is that the ban for Glen Kamara, if he is going to be subject to that, and if the whole story is true, someone just put in the comments earlier that the Scottish police have said that he hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't beaten up the Slavia Prague player. But
so this is my point. This is Slavia Prague. This is Slavia Prague trying to get away from
trying
the
to
fact
get the heat off them.
one of their players,
100%.
like
it's a deflection
Slavia
technique,
Prague,
100%.
Yeah, it's a deflection, and this is a prized club, like in their trying to, like, I'm sorry, you have players who are going to be so angry if this is true. You are going to have players in the Slavia team that aren't going to want to play with your player. They're not going to want to be around him. That player that's done this, I don't even want to say his name because he doesn't even deserve to be acknowledged as far as I'm concerned. That player is going to be absolutely ripped to shreds. Like, he literally is going to be ripped to shreds if they have to work with him. Because if it's true, and I'm pretty sure that some of the Slavia players heard it, they just haven't said anything yet. But let me tell you,
there's black players on their team as well.
Exactly, this is my point. They're not going to want to work with him. They're not going to want to train with him. They're not going to want to be around him. He's going to get bullied. He's going to get they're just going to be so angry. They're going to be raging. And the fact that their own management team has released a statement trying to brush it under the rug is going to be really, like, they're going to be raging because they're going to be like, why is our management not?
If Glen Kamara gets a ban, or even this whole thing, the issue is going to be him getting a ban. It's not going to be, the racist abuse in this player. It's going to be completely deflected onto the fact that, and it's going to be, it's going to feed into a stereotype of, this aggressive nature, and it's going to feed into that stereotype, and it's going to just perpetuate it more. So it's embarrassing. Obviously, we've got Bob's with us, everyone. Obviously, welcome to the show. It's exciting exciting making your debut. I know you obviously speak up a lot on social issues. I've been on your show before speaking about it. We did a whole 2.5 podcast over on Bob's channel if you want to go and check that out.
It was incredible. Guys, make sure you check it out. You've learned so much.
Yeah, I'll get the ads up now and put them on. But I know what you're going to say. I probably know your opinion, but obviously just voice it to the people, voice it to the masses, preach the utter wrongness of everything that goes on in football, please, Bobs, because you fight it every single day.
By the way, big up to Kendall though. Thanks for having me on. I've literally crashed. Obviously we were recording for the Man United one, and I was just like, "Who's live?" And I was like, "Oh, Kendall!" So I just jumped in. But no, listen. Big up to everyone on the panel. Yeah. Do you know what the sad thing is, Kendall? We spoke about it. They're not going to highlight what he's actually said. They're going to highlight the way it's been reacted. In secondary school or primary school, if someone hits you, but you hit back and they say you shouldn't hit back, it's pretty much like that. And that's been breaking it down for small-minded people. Yeah. Basically, a black player has been racially abused. And it came out what he said. It was clear as day what it was said. And I think the telling thing was the 2 black players on Slavia Prague's team didn't react because they knew what was said. And now, obviously, Steven Gerrard came out to defend his player. he's now getting pelters because the whole Luis Suarez thing. We live in a society that where everyone wants to be cancelled. You can't say something now. And the one thing that keeps growing now is racism. It's like a fashion now. You know, why would you cover your mouth and scream at a black person? What are you trying to hide at the end of the day? All jokes aside, guys, you know what I mean? And then look at the screen here, okay? There's a mix of different people who come from different places and stuff. We all know right from wrong, okay? What I don't like is the way Slavia Prague are now trying to deny it. They're trying to, just like that dude, I think she looks like me. I will. What they're trying to hide it and say that Glenn done something. No, like, do you know? But as Steven Gerrard said, nothing's going to happen, and that's the sad part, Kendall. Nothing is going to happen. You're going to see.
I don't think Strip Bar was talking about you, by the way. She was talking about.
Oh, no, okay, cool. But no, nothing's going to happen, and that's the sad part because it keeps happening. Steven Gerrard said it. This keeps happening. It's just going to keep happening and happening. And what I actually want now, I saw Goldson. I want someone to get punched up now. Punch him up. If you're going to get booked, Goldson got booked for standing up for his teammate because his teammate was being racially abused. How can you book someone for standing up for someone against...
There's the issue, isn't it? There's the issue.
But
listen.
But can I just, how can you... I'm so confused at this, though, because, like, if you were going to scream, it's an effing guy, like... You would have done that from across the pitch and you'd have no problem. You wouldn't have to run all the way across. Like He ran at least a meter. He ran at least a meter just to whisper something in his ear, covering it. Like, tell me that's not shady AF. Because let me tell you, I've been watching crime documentaries lately. That's shady. Let me tell you, anyone that's doing that kind of shady business, like, no, you're hiding something. Let me tell you now, I want him banned for life. I want this man banned for life. I don't want, because you know the excuses that are going to come out. Oh, he was young. He didn't know what he was doing.
Honestly.
And what? There's no excuse.
No.
There is no excuse for it.
How you're not a toddler. So
I don't care. You've been to school. You know what it's like. You've learned history. So don't come at me with the, oh, he was young.
No,
he messed up. He's a racist. He is a racist, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, all I'm saying is that he needs to be suspended. I know he's not, but and if he got punched up, good. I don't condone violence ever, but the fact that it was on a pitch, and I'm like, ugh, it makes me angry. Like, it's disgusting.
We don't condone violence, but if there is, then that's it, isn't it? That's
no, honestly. But wherever you are, you can't just accept people in 2021, and you're being the way you're being. Anywhere you are, you kind of do deserve a repercussion. And I don't condone violence, but I'm sorry, a repercussion for what you're doing and the way your mindset is. You can't really say anything back to that. And as much without saying too much and being a bit too offensive, at the end of the day, you do deserve a repercussion for being racist. Thank you
for coming on, by the way. Thank you for that.
Do you know what I think the problem
always speaks out on this stuff, and he has go and check his channel out because he has literally amazing content on there to do with this whole subject. So 100%.
Do you know what I think the problem is that we are in the 21st century. We're in 2021. Let me tell you how I see people. I see people. If you're kind to me, I'm kind to you. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. I literally have no judgment on your race, your sexuality, your gender, your color. I don't care. If you're kind to me, I'm kind to you. And why can't everyone else be like that? Because there's nothing wrong. A human being is a human being. Doesn't matter.
But you're setting yourself up to not meet amazing people because you have a prejudice over someone you don't even know. It's actually so stupid and thick, because you could meet an amazing person, and you are not allowing yourself to even speak to them on a serious level because of your own prejudice. Is just ridiculous. And yes, by the way, he does deserve serious repercussion for being racist. So I don't care that I've said that, and I don't care if that comes back to me, because I stand by it. And I think that if anyone that's racist, by the way, in this day and age, anywhere, but in any day and age, but this day and age I live in, it should be addressed and in any kind of way. And I feel like education is not the way. You're educated enough at this point. I don't need to tell you not to be racist. Do you know what I mean? You're just a horrible person, and that's just the way it is.
100%. Go on, Beth.
Yeah, if Kamara has beaten him up, as they're stating, and I think that's completely reasonable, all things considered, because like if he knows, based on the history of all racism in football, that there is no punishment, there's no realistic punishment, so why shouldn't he just take it into his own hands? Because it's a serious thing. So I don't have any sort of like feeling towards the Slavia player that's been beaten up if he has been, because that's what he deserves.
I just want to say something though. In Wales, where I live, I think a lot of people know I live in Wales, but they announced, I think it was yesterday, that they're looking at bringing Black history into schools in Wales, which I think is absolutely. Do you know what? I think it's sad that it's needed. I think it's really sad that it is needed. I think it's awful that we are having to do this. The fact is, everybody is human being. I don't care who, what, when, where, why. Really couldn't. If you want to think you're an alien, cool story. You're nice to me, I'm nice to you. I couldn't care. I literally couldn't. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. Like, who gives a shit? Like, all these people that are like in their set ways are missing out, like Eleanor said, on meeting great people. Like, there is like, do you know? I can't understand. I usually find a way to justify something, but I can never find a way to understand it or justify it. But I can't understand it. I can't find a way to understand why people do it, because they're nice. Everyone's nice. Like, I don't understand it. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I can't understand why people are so vile. I really can't.
I get you 100%. Rams, thank you for joining us, by the way. Obviously, everybody who watches the Terrace will have seen Ram before. Sorry, she's been pretty good. She's been sound. Wave your hand, everyone, saying hi. Obviously, Ram's joining us for the chat, obviously, about the whole Glen Kamara situation. So, just want to get your views on it, really, Ram.
Look, I was watching the game yesterday. I looked at the incident. I looked at it again and again and again, and it just sickens me watching it every single time. Honestly, but this is the thing: they were having a conversation before, and then the guy has the audacity to walk up to him, cover his mouth, and say what he said. And this is not the first. And this is the thing: when I heard the response saying, he didn't say anything racist," I knew it was absolute bullshit. I knew it was absolute bullshit, because one of the Slavia Prague players is black and heard it. And the face showed. He must have said something racist, because he might have got it every single day. And this is the most annoying thing, right? That player is an international player, plays for the Czech Republic, and that's just even worse. It just sickens me.
The problem, the amount of races he's played with in his lifetime as well. Like,
exactly,
it's absolutely disgusting that he feels the need that, or he feels that he's more superior to whoever else, another race in that field, and that he can say that stuff. I think it's absolutely vile, Ram. You're right, 100%. I think it's disgusting.
Great.
Yeah, literally.
It's ironic.
And
I mean,
honestly,
a player of like color, or a player of any race, anyone, scores for them, he'll be celebrating, hugging them.
Eleanor, a black player scored for them yesterday. He scored the first goal.
That's what I'm saying. It's just so ironic.
But just to clarify, these players are getting racially abused when actually they're the players getting the goals. They're the players defending the teams and saving these teams, and they're still getting all this. Like
honestly, I was gonna say, I hope to God Thomas Partey does his business against him, because Arsenal got next round. Thomas Partey,
anybody.
Lacazette. I want them to do their business with him, because he honestly, it's the audacity he had to do that as well. Yeah. Like, nothing stopped him. He knew what he was gonna do. Went up to him, said what he said. Knew he would get a reaction, and honestly, is absolutely disgusting. I can't believe we're still talking about this. It's like what
Stephen...
Steven...
You say things to get a reaction,
Every week,
which is
every
what's
week.
annoying.
It's like what Steven Gerrard said. This is not the problem. It's just going to escalate. Like Kamar Roof has gotten racial abuse online from Slavia Prague fans, and he knew.
Challenge.
Yeah, and Steven Gerrard said it. It's going to happen. Where he's going to get everyone's going to get abused. Every single black player from the Rangers team is going to get abused. I think Connor Golson got some as well, which is absolutely disgusting. Honestly,
it is vile. And as you
Can
were saying,
I just
I can't believe we're
say
still
something?
talking about it.
I've never wanted Arsenal to absolutely annihilate them. I've never wanted Saka, Partey, Aubameyang, Lacazette all to get goals. I've never wanted that more in my life. I've never wanted David Luiz to be so reckless that he accidentally tackles him and he accidentally hurts his knee and he accidentally gets a red card. Never wanted David Luiz to do that more. I know that's me just being petty right now, but if he's not going to get punished, David Luiz, please take it away, hon. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if he's even playing in the next game, how wrong is that?
Yeah.
How the fact that we're having to discuss whether he's going to be playing in the next game or not is absolutely sickening to me.
And you know what? I want to quickly say fair play to Steven Gerrard. Like, I read a lot of his books. I've read that he feels a lot of regret because he hadn't stood up for it when he was younger. Like
the whole Suarez thing, especially.
The whole Suarez thing. Like, obviously he wasn't there. He I think he was injured at the time. But the Emil Heskey thing, he didn't give him the support even as a teammate against Spain. And I just feel like he's trying to go back and do what he should have done the last couple.
This is his chance to make things right, I guess. This is his chance
as
to,
a manager,
rectify what happened. And now he's in the position where he can do that because, as you say, he's the manager now. Yeah, I think this is the right case for. But thank you for joining us, Ram. By the way, obviously,
appreciate it.
Really hard subject. And you made a debut, so it's Bob's tonight. But thank you, Ram. Thank you.
See you there.
We were going to slightly get onto that was a very deep conversation, guys. Sorry to, dip the mood a little bit, but it's got to be done. It is a serious conversation that needs to be had. And until, as we say, the punishment's handed out properly, then
we need to talk about it.
Things aren't changed. Yeah, we need.
And I feel like if people say, like, I've seen a few comments saying we shouldn't be talking about it, shouldn't give it. No, we need to talk about it because these are things. This is how you stamp this crap.
Yeah.
I want to say more
and
serious words.
Can I just say, just specifically, obviously, I can just speak on my behalf. Knows that I'm not the type of person to sit back and just let things happen. I've always spoke about stuff.
Can I just say, I've just seen a comment. I've just seen a comment saying if someone comes to my ear and says to me racist things, I will ignore it. It wouldn't even bother me.
It's not that easy, though.
It's not that, like,
you shouldn't have to ignore somebody. Someone shouldn't have the arrogance to come and say something racist, despite what your reaction's going to be. Someone shouldn't have that arrogance. That's the problem. It's the mindset. But that's where we are.
I get that some people can't be helped, but it's the others that we talk about this for the others that can be. So we need to make it. We need to make it out there.
So for the last 5 minutes, we're just going to keep it on for 5 minutes now. There was obviously over 300 of you guys watching. It has dipped a little bit, but get that back up, get the likes back up. We are going to go back onto football and stuff now. I'm not even bothered if the people who've left while we're talking about racism, you can go for me. I really am not fussed about that.
We don't actually want you back. We don't actually want you back on this group if you're going to leave during racism chats.
Facts. But obviously we're going to just go quickly. Because of the title of the video, we're going to just 5 minutes onto transfer news because there has been a couple of stories in the last few days. Firstly, about Sergio Aguero going to Chelsea. He's obviously out of contract in the summer, and apparently he was meant to be going to Chelsea. There was the Daily Mail released a story, a couple of other news outlets released a story. It has apparently, everybody in the comments was saying that it is now come out as fake. It's not happening. But the one story that is there is that Aguero is possibly going to Barcelona. Now, the only contradiction to that is that Aguero will not be allowed to go to Barcelona, apparently, unless Messi leaves. So I'm feeling like maybe could there be a swap situation going on there? Maybe Messi to City, Aguero to Barcelona. We don't know. I'm not sure. If any man, I would love to. I would love to
see. I know I'm a Spurs fan, but generally I do. I'm a Messi over Ronaldo as much as that's. We don't know. Kendall's opinion on that, but yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows my opinion.
Yeah, I'm Messi over Ronaldo. So for me, it'll be like, yes, Messi, get in the Prem and just show you could do it in the Prem as well. And
I would love
Yeah.
Messi in the Prem. I would absolutely love Messi in the Prem.
Yeah,
Just to clarify, I've never agreed with Eleanor more. Like, I literally, I
just see
want
them
to
both.
see. It's like when you go to, like, if Eleanor goes to a Spurs game or I go to a Chelsea game, we're playing City and there's Messi. There is Messi on the pitch. Can you imagine that? Like,
I would
I
love
just
to see
see it
Messi in person because
I
I've seen Ronaldo
really-
before several times, but never seen Messi
Yeah,
play in
I've
person
seen
before. So I would
Ronaldo.
love it.
I've never seen Messi.
I've seen Messi against Spurs when he had an absolute masterclass and beat us 4-2. I was at that game, but it is a masterclass to watch. And just imagine him in the Prem every week. Like, as much as I'd hate to watch City just pull away even more, it would just be amazing.
Thanks, Alan. By the way, love you, Alan.
He's on my show this next week, so Alan, we'll talk next week.
Oh, you started something now, Alan. Obviously, but
I just like
Alan,
to
you've got
clarify.
the show.
I kind of have to agree with that comment. I'm really sorry, Eleanor. Ronaldo is better than Messi.
I just love Ronaldo. Like, it's not because I don't like Messi or rate Messi. I think
I get that.
Absolutely.
No,
the best
I
of the
don't
generation.
not
I
rate.
just love
I
Ronaldo.
don't know. I don't not rate Messi. I think they're both incredibly talented footballers, and they're incredibly talented at what they do.
Yeah.
For me, Ronaldo's. But yours preference is Messi. Ours is Ronaldo. Like,
my preference is Messi more because it's his position as well. I just really love watching, the dribbling through and all that.
Well, Beth's got a Barca agenda, so I'm assuming that she is probably Ronaldo over Messi because she absolutely hates Barcelona.
I hate Barcelona.
But
She really hates Barcelona.
into it. Either way, it'll be interesting to see him in the Prem. I'm not bad.
100%. I would love to see him in the Prem. And then obviously the other big news that I looked at today was, I don't know where Eleanor's gone, but obviously I need her on this subject. But was the possibility
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. You've just gone black. Like the screen's gone black.
It's just my internet's being rubbish.
So the other news that I have seen in the past few days is that Sergio Aguero is possibly going to link back up with Poch at PSG. Now, whether that is true, you have to take transfer rumours with a pinch of salt. I've said this from day one.
Yeah.
I never believe transfer rumours until I literally see an official club statement, so and so signed, because it's just ridiculous at this point. We've seen so many random things happen in the past. Obviously, we'll just quickly go on to this, but obviously with this situation that your club is in right now, is that a good move? Would you miss Aurier? Would it be a big miss? Would he fit into PSG squad? Because in my opinion, I don't really see him getting in there directly, starting for them. But whether or not it's different in French football, I'm not entirely sure. But would it be a big miss for you guys anyway?
I mean, unless we're going to buy, we need to buy a right back anyway, because Aurier is not good enough and Doherty is just, without being too harsh, Doherty's Doherty. So, I just can't, I just don't know. Like, what we can't do is generally, we can't just have Aurier go and just expect Doherty to be our main, because what Tottenham do a lot is we rely on our backups.
I've seen you moan about, not you specifically, but Spurs fans moan about Doherty.
I've moaned about Doherty a lot. But generally what we've done is the problem. We generally always use our backups. We sell our best player and we use our backups. This is the problem. And, we did it with Walker. We sold Walker, expected Trippier to be, on that level. Danny Rose dropped off. We expect Davis to be on that level. We never buy a starter. We always expect, when we sell our starter, we expect our backup to end up being our starter. That's just the problem. But don't get me wrong, Aurier's not good enough as it is. So if we're going to sell him, I'm hoping it's to get a better right back in. So, but if it's not, then literally pray for us, because seriously, Doherty at right back all season. Agent Doherty can leave us today. Yes, Alan, he can. He's a gooner at work.
You're back on a good side now, Alan. You're back on a good side.
As Cam says, we've got ops in our team everywhere. He's an op. Cam, shout out to Sarcasm City. But literally, he's an op. Our manager's an op. Our right back's an op. What could I say?
The club's up at this point.
I have to agree with that point, because if you're going to sell Aurier and keep Doherty, that's the biggest joke of the year. At least sell Doherty. Sell Doherty to some team that
Well,
will
apparently
take him.
Wolves want him back. I don't know how true
I mean,
that is,
take
but I
him.
have seen
Take
that
him.
this week.
Take him. I'm sure Eleanor will just tell them to take him,
I'll drive
but
him
never
there.
come back.
Still driving
see,
there.
That is kindness. That is kindness of a Spurs fan offering to take the world's shittest player, not the world's, but his shit, and take him back to where he belongs, which is Wolves. Like
Yeah.
that's kindness. That's so lovely, Eleanor. Really
Yeah,
lovely
exactly.
gesture.
Do you know what I mean?
That's so
So
lovely.
thoughtful.
Wow.
So yeah, we
Anyways.
just need a better right back in general. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Right. Sorry, guys, we have overrun, but you know, this conversations needed to be had. We did go into a little bit of a Spurs rant, all of us. That's fine. It's acceptable. We're allowed. As I say, I'm slightly in charge of this show, so I can kind of dictate from that point. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We got up to, obviously, I say over 300 people watching at one point, so that is amazing. Thank you, everybody, for the super chat. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. I'm gonna let the girls tell you where you can find them now. So Eleanor, where can everybody find you, please?
Here pretty much always on the terrace. I'll be here every Friday, but yeah, you can find me on the terrace for Batch Reactions on Spurs, at LilyWhite_TV on Twitter, but I also host the Tottenham show on the terrace that normally comes out on a Thursday. But yeah, it might not now because we're not in the Europa, so I can bring it out whenever. But I do that as well. So any Spurs fans watching, if you do want to have your say, do send me a DM because we are looking for guests. So let me know.
Perfect. Beth, where can they find you?
Yep, so I'm on Twitter at KingKaiFC and I'm on Instagram as well at _BethDXC. On Friday nights at 8 p.m, I do the Chelsea Lady Show on GNA TV with Charles, and sometimes I'm on here with Kendall.
Perfect, love it. And Charles, where can they find you finally?
On Instagram and Twitter, Charles_strong. You can find me on the First XI on Indiana's channel on Thursday for the Offside Rule. You can find me on Friday on the GNA TV for the Women's Show with Beth. You can find me on here every Friday, probably being a gobby twat, but you know, it is.
We love it.
You can find me on Strong TV on my YouTube channel. Got a wine and football show. Yeah, check it out. Make sure you subscribe.
Absolutely. Honestly, all of these girls are doing amazing things on the YouTube scene at the moment. So please go and check them out at all their respective channels and socials. Obviously, I've been your host. You can find me at Kendall Rowan on Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube. You can find me here every Friday at 9 p.m. with these lovely ladies, and also on Midnight Vibes on the Terrace on Wednesdays and Sundays. And anywhere in between, if you want to find me, you probably will. But thank you so much, everybody, and stay safe. Have a great week, everybody, and see you next Friday.